All right, guys, today is CTR, talking all things CTR. Got Mr. Mike Orlino with us. Brent, keep him up in your prayers or thoughts because he's got some issues he's dealing with.
Yes.
And if you want to reach out to him and just say, hey, thinking about you, something like that. So get any questions you have regarding CTR manipulation, GMBN. Let's see, any questions come in yet? Yeah, I had an awesome day yesterday, bro. Awesome. Best day. I
Hey,
mean,
that's good to hear. Great to hear.
I got it. I mean, I don't get excited much, but Jason called me right afterwards. He's like, I said, now that shit. When you make in 45 minutes what you used to make in a year, it's like hot dang. I mean,
Wow.
I'll say that much.
Sounds interesting. Sounds great, though.
And then I have 2 other contracts out that are both 6 figures.
Wow. Big boy shit.
All of which are national SEO campaigns. Because I say I don't do national SEO. I do it as long as you get the money. But most people ain't got the money. If I tell you it's going to cost you $15,000 a month and I want 6 months up front, they're like, hell no. Because most people ain't that. You ain't got that serious. But any of you agency people, I mean, anybody runs agencies, think of it this way. December should be the month. I think a lot of people will go, I want to make a lot of money in March because of tax season. That's the wrong thinking. Your biggest month, honestly, should very likely be December, because you got to think there's a lot of business owners right now that may have extra money sitting around that they got to get rid of before December 31st, because if they don't, when tax season rolls around, they got to pay Mr. Uncle Sam. So that's just a gold nugget for y'all. Please share more what happened with you. There was one phone call, one new client, and closed a huge deal. I won't go in. I mean, put it that way, it's good money. Let's see here. Yep. Need some before and after numbers so we can anchor the value I provide to SEO clients. As in, before this company hired me, they were getting 5 calls. With that amount, it was just, yeah, correct. Please share more. What have you need before and after? Yeah, you need your own case studies. Give me 1 second. All right. I don't see any CTR questions yet. Y'all gotta get some CTR questions in here if you want Holly, Michael, or myself to answer any, okay? Because this is Q&A time for you guys. This is not teaching time necessarily like normal. I do have some good news, though. On top of that, citations, I'll be teaching on Monday, structured versus non-structured, and how to get high DA page rank citations versus crappy citations. A lot of times what y'all do is y'all order 300 citations, 60 of them will be live, the rest of them won't. So you basically essentially just paid, I don't know, 50, 60 bucks a lot of times or more for citations that amount to nothing.
Yep, big time facts.
When you get citations from us with the system that I have, our page rank on our citations, not the domain rank, the actual page rank is in the 20s to 30s. And on top of it, they are instantaneously live. So don't even try to figure it out. Just say, okay, sounds good to me. But I'll be going over that on Monday and showing y'all how easy the system is, because it's all in a system. And just basically going to show you how easy it is, how to set up your citations, and then if y'all want it, go for it. If y'all don't, it's cool. Should we consider CTR before or after backlinks? Robert Huey asks.
CTR, you start before. You could do CTR before backlinks, definitely, especially branded. Want to get started with branded early.
Same thing, I agree. Branded traffic. And branded traffic, you can go crazy with. You don't need to necessarily go slow and steady wins the race. Not in my mind, at least. Robert. Yeah. Let's see. Do you guys use micro workers for CTR manipulation or other tools? Patrick, everybody in here uses multiple micro workers. I have used Viper. I don't use Viper. Michael uses Viper. He also uses like Agency Assassin. He also uses CTR Booster. He also uses some of his own network shit. He uses cell phones. Holly uses cell phones primarily. You're actually going to Salt Lake City, Utah, right, Holly?
Yeah, I'm going for 9 days with, I don't know, maybe 150 phones.
What week are you going? This week or next week?
December 10th to the 18th.
Okay, so if any of you guys have any clients or any assets in that area or on the way to that area, you kind of need to reach out to Holly, and she has her own services she provides with the cell phone. So while she's driving on her way in that area, I would take advantage of that.
So Holly, do you have I know it's probably all private, right? But do you have, or could you get like anybody that could show a case study of what happens after you come with all those phones? Because that shit would be so interesting to see.
I actually talked to, so I did it for a towing company in
yeah, Chicago, right? Or Wisconsin.
In Cleveland.
Oh,
and,
yeah, Ohio. Yeah. I actually ended up speaking with that. That's why I brought it up. He told me shit went crazy
like
after
day.
you came.
Yeah, it was only a day. In fact, I think it was that night he messaged me. He was like, it was all red and I'm a number one across the board. And I was like, well, do you want me to stay for the 5 days? You want me to finish it out? He's like, yeah. And actually he wants me to come back, but not because it's dropped, because it doesn't drop.
No, he wants you to go to the other side of town. Me and him were talking, and I actually told him, I was like, yo, bro.
He talked to me too.
If she came and it worked, and you telling me it still worked, but it's the other side of town, have her come back to the side of town.
That's what he was asking me, and I told him he wanted me to do some SEO, and he had told me Holly came through and she went through one part of town, and he wants the other part of town. I said, well, just have Holly come back through.
I told him I'd bring more phones, and because originally I think we brought maybe 50 to 75 phones, and we only did one drive a day, maybe with 2 drives a day, but I told him I'd come back, but it has to be William knows what's going on, so I had to make sure my schedule was okay, and I'm like, I can't come till January anyways. He said his calls went from like 100 to 600 a month. So I was like, man, it's worth it. I don't know why you would not want
I told him, I said, you have some personal things, but just arrange the time with you and you would do it. So
yeah.
I just straight up told him, so if you have her come through, it's going to happen like within days. You have me, it's going to be at least a month, bro.
When are you coming to Florida, Holly?
But I've asked a few people, I'm like, can you just give me like a review? And they're like, no, we don't want you to do it for other people.
Yeah,
I was like,
that makes sense.
When
are you coming to Florida, Holly? Anytime next year or soon? I think February, right?
I think February I'm coming to Florida.
Yeah, I think we might be at that same Miami spot. Oh man, I'm gonna hit you up, Holly. Maybe we do a test. I have a lead gen. I don't have anything out there unless you could come to my side of Florida. I'm gonna hit you up, matter of fact, because that'd be some ill shit to case study and document. What?
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
I know they want me to go to New York too, and I'm like, I'll get there. Just
Oh, if you go to New York, you definitely got to hit me up, because that's then we talking money. And then I might could pre-sell something for you too to some of my buddies. That I just tell, listen to me, pay her, and if it doesn't work, I'll pay you back because I know it'll work.
It's on my list. It's just I have to get to the first of the year.
Yep. All right, cool. Somebody said, Guys, what's your game plan? What would your game plan be if you have 2 GMB locations and 1 website to help with calls? Client doesn't have the money for a second website. I did put her on level 1 SEO package with you, William. So go ahead, Will, you answer that because you're doing their
What would
SEO.
your
So
game plan be if you have 2 GMB locations, 1 website? I've said this before. I want separate GMBs, separate websites. So necessarily, and depending on everything, I'd have to look at this specific client, but separate website, separate GMB. They don't have the money for the second website. That's going to be their problem. Okay. I would almost, take that second one off of that same GMB and create its own G site and put it on its own G site and rank it on just its own G site. Depending on how you got it set up. For example, if your location's dead center and I start making multiple GMBs around it to create more phone calls, I will take these that are around here if they don't have enough money and take those and put them on a, advanced G stack or drive stack with its own G site.
I have a question. Sorry, did I just cut you off? Were you done or you were going on? Okay,
you're good, bro.
Yo, have you, if you've ever done that, right? Or anyone in here, have like take the money site URL website to that leads to a multi-location multi-location website, right? And let the Google website be the primary website. You could go in there and change it. Have you ever done that and had a suspension or re-verification pop up?
When you do what?
So
changing what?
For changing the main URL that's shown in right. That's okay.
So right before it was like back in, I think June or July, they had did that one major algo update. And before that, I had actually went in and changed about 80 different GMBs names, which usually get suspension, right?
Yeah.
Not one suspension, not one. That's crazy. Right. So I was going in there putting city and keyword and getting shit ranked, and just by doing that shit. And then I think it was right after the algo update, probably 2 or 3 days, I go in there and I just go, well, I'm going to update and change the URL it was pointing to. Instant suspension.
Yeah.
I was like, that's weird. And then I did it again, another instant suspension. I was like, yeah, well, not going to be doing this. And then I went to death. But I went back in and I got it, I got that suspension removed. And now I've done the URL and I haven't had no problems. That is now. I think it was happening back then because they were going through their algo update, and I didn't go, oh yeah, I shouldn't be doing this during the algo update, I didn't think changing the URL structure. Usually it's the category or the name.
Or the name, yeah, or the address. If you try to move the pin, then yeah. But usually, I know exactly what you're saying. I have one of my main brands that has 2 GMBs, and I wish it didn't have the second, because the second one ended up like almost surpassing the main brand, the homepage. And they both still rank well, right? But I know that I'd be super dominating if they were separate. And I've thought about building a new website and then just try to local guide it and suggest the edit to switch it to the new website. Because I will not risk changing anything. And let me say this to y'all guys. If y'all have GMBs that bring you revenue, right? Like it's bringing you money, don't change certain shit, bro, unless you understand that you're paying Russian roulette with that property, right? It could go from making you money to bang, you ain't making shit off that. Now, mind you, you might know Will and he might be able to get it back for you or whatever, right? But then there's that slight chance, you just never know, right? That it might not happen. So you might go from making 500, 5K, whatever it is a month off that property to nothing, because you try to get what I would say greedy, like me. I want more. I'm already getting calls, but I want it how I know it could be if they weren't attached to one website. I'm not gonna play myself. So just a little heads up. He'd be careful what you do with those GMBs if you value them, right? If it's brand new and you lose it, you lose it, you know, but it is what it is.
What phone stuff is Michael referring to? So Robert Hugh, if you've been here a little bit, you know about CTR manipulation using phones. If not, I mean, can't really dive too much and go watch some of the other ones and we'll talk about it, but maybe calling the GMB. No. Jennifer Brand, can you put additional GMBs on the location pages of the money site? I'll let someone else answer that one because I've answered it 50 million times.
Can you put additional GMBs on their location pages of the money site?
Correct.
Yeah. Well, yes. Well, it sounds like a trick question almost. You can, you shouldn't though. You should have 1 GMB per website. 1 GMB per website. Like that's the goal, right? Look,
I'm gonna get a damn shirt that says that shit.
No, yeah, for real. And listen, 1 Gmail account, 1 fucking GMB, right? 1 GMB, 1 website. Yeah. It's not complicated. I just finished going on a rant saying I'm stressed out because I have 1 property that has 2 GMBs on 1 domain, right? And I wish it wasn't. Because if it wasn't, I know what I'd be doing, right? Because my other GMBs that are just 1 GMB, 1 website, and more importantly, 1 brand, right? 1 entity in 1 location. Not trying to complicate it, not trying to get super sophisticated with it, multi-location. I ain't trying to be McDonald's. I'm not trying to even compete with that, right? I want to be under that radar. To me, as a local business, I just want to simple, bro. If I could have 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 90, 100, whatever it is, GMBs with websites, one of them goes down, okay, right? If you have everything attached to 1 asset and that asset burns down, crashes, gets hacked, who gives a fuck what the fucking metaphor is? Don't put all your eggs in 1 basket. Simple fundamentals in life, apply it in business. Especially with GMBs. I'm gonna get extra for y'all for Will, right? Because Will, I know why he said I'm gonna let someone else answer it. Because y'all ask this shit, and I'm not to get at anybody here, but people ask this shit all the time, right? 1 GMB, 1 website.
Yep. You know, and the other response, I mean, I tell people is I could do it that other way, but I don't. Why am I going to do?
Yeah, you could. And then
why am I going to do it? I literally have a case study because I hadn't had it for the longest ass time. I literally had a case study. Woman messages me. She's with us now. And she said, I have 1 website and I got like 3 GMBs on it. And for some reason, it won't see my main GMB. The other 2 are filtering it out. And I said, well, that's because you shouldn't be putting all them fucking GMBs on this damn website. Let's take them off and actually do this right. And then what do you know? Main GMB pops up in the maps.
Yep.
So, and she had 15 of them doing rank and rent this way. So, and she hired one of our VAs or whatever. So they're helping her out. So.
Thomas says, how about changing your GMB website name address? I'm talking about the business.site. I wouldn't do it. It could, just me personally, because you're risking re-verification, suspension.
Bingo.
Just don't, you know, unless it's brand new. Like just when you launch the website, right? It's going to go by what your business name already is. You know, me personally, I would leave it like that. Dependent. If it's a brand, leave it. If it's a lead gen, it's already probably got the keywords in it, right? So know which way you want to slice the cake when you're doing that. But if it's already up and existing, I would not edit that. Hell no.
Yep. It's the same reason, like whenever, just FYI, because I haven't had too many. I just had one person ask. This is primarily why I don't sell GMBs. Just, you know me, I'm honest, is because people don't follow directions. Yep. I say, for example, I want your business name. I want this. I want this. I want this. I want this. I want your Gmail you want to associate with, right? And then I get a question back. It's like, oh, I thought you were providing a Gmail for the GMB. Where in the fuck did I say that in the form? I didn't say that. I said I asked you for your Gmail account. And then what you need to do once you get these new GMBs, don't be jumping in that fucking brand new GMB, changing all the shit up.
Oh hell.
Because then when you do that, you're going to get suspended. You will get suspended. I won't even be like, you might get suspended. No, but you're going to get suspended. Especially you dealing with locksmith or towing or one of these in the garage doors or some other.
Instantly.
There are things you got to think about when you're doing a lot of it. Don't be acting crazy, you know. How about changing your GMB web? No, absolutely not.
Yo, real fast. Yo, if y'all order GMBs, when you first get the GMB back, right? I mean, depending on when and if you have a warranty from who you're buying it from, right? I would let that shit sit, right? Not past the warranty period, but let it sit. Because the quicker you get it, you go in there, you start fucking with shit. That shit is like okay, Google's like, all right, there they go, right? Because if a listing was just created, like how much edits and things and changes, like, you know what I'm trying to say? Common fucking sense, right? But maybe a business owner,
with me, I'll literally go in there and be like, okay, don't do any edits. If I go in there and I see a bunch of edits done, your guarantee just went out the fucking door. So
oh yeah.
Because
that's the first thing I always ask a vendor, like, what's the warranty? Can I make any edits, or are you gonna fill all this out for me? Like, I got to the point where when I was trying to get some, it's like the only way I'm gonna order is if you'll do the description, launch the website, like fill everything out for me. I'll give you all the data and deliver me a fully optimized GMB pretty much, except for uploading the images and I'm talking about copy paste the word, the free Google business site. I would give them an HTML file for that and everything. Just cause, right, guys? Once you get that GMB, you do not want to do anything to lose it. That's just me. I look at it like it's real estate, like a fucking deed to a house or whatever, a piece of property in real life. A lot of people are into the numbers game with GMBs, right? Like get a lot, and I feel that. I'm trying to get into that game myself, right? Because numbers is crazy. But there's also people that'll tell you, hey man, I've made 100K a year off one GMB consistently, right?
That's why a lot of
30K or 200K or whatever it is, right? But consistently. Like I've had my GMBs for I don't even know how long, from before I knew what GMBs were. You dig what I'm saying? Then there was 7 of them, but since for that long, like, so imagine me losing one of those GMBs. I'm not doing anything to risk that.
You got to think about those things. So I'll make the shirt Robert Huey. I guarantee I get off here, I'll make that damn shirt. Test, and then another one gonna be, I said one the other day, I think I don't know, Michael Hurt said I'm an agnostic when it comes to SEO. I don't really believe or disbelieve. I want to test and see if something works. Too many people be saying, oh yeah, this works. Oh yeah, this doesn't work. Full of crap. On a GMB.
Yo, Will, my headphone I think broke. It's gonna stop charging, so I'm gonna figure out how to use another mic. So bear with me if I have some audio issues.
On a GMB, do you need to add stuff weekly or monthly? Good enough. Or if it's a brand new GMB, let it sit. If it's already aged a little bit, then I would start doing weekly things like adding posts, adding offers, stuff like that. You just don't want to go in there and look like an SEO. Just go in there and start doing a ton of edits all at one time. As long as it's been there for a bit, you're fine. But how many cities do you add per GMB? Max 1. That's how much I add. One GMB, 1 city. I'm not going to go 1 GMB, even if it's a service area business. I'm sorry, 1 GMB, 1 city. I will take that city and then I will take it and attach that GMB to this website, and then take all those neighborhoods in that city and attach it to the, the location page or the city page. You got to think of it this way. Okay. What are we talking about with SEO entity, right? If you want to become the number one entity for plumbing in Orlando, or let's say Salt Lake City, where Holly's going, you generally need to what? Develop strings, if you will, from strings or keywords to becoming known as the number one plumber in Salt Lake City, the number one person with the most traffic, the number one person that mentions the most information, the number one person mentions the most tools. Like you'll see in GMB where it says, in the actual GMB listing, it says this website mentions plumbing tools. This place mentions asphalt, or whatever keywords are associated with that entity. You want to become known as the entity in that area. When you wind up having, let's put one city, two cities, three cities, you really think you're going to become the number one entity for each one of those websites on the same website? It's much more difficult to do that unless you got several years. Go for it. Sean McKean, I have a client in town 50 miles outside of a larger city. The current website's branded. The GMB address is for the outside town. They just got you an address for the GMB in the larger city. Should I create the name of the GMB? You need to create a GMB for that bigger city and a separate website for that separate city. That's what I'm going to tell you to do. All right, Michael, William, and Holly, do you need traffic to rank? I mean, well, traffic's the number one ranking factor. That's on GMB and organic. It's on both. Number one ranking factor. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, Holly or Michael, but I'm pretty sure that's number one ranking factor.
I think it's the number one ranking factor, but if you're on page and your links and everything else is shit, I don't know.
Yeah, that's not going to help you.
Yeah, you got to have all that other stuff right before you start your CTR.
Have the foundations done and all that, but
yeah,
you know, once you have that, if you got traffic, you're going to rank. It's like a lot of people will go, let me get a bunch of backlinks. They have no thought in where they're getting the backlinks. Okay. Should I get a backlink that maybe I'll give you an example. I get a backlink that's got high DA. I get a backlink that has mediocre DA, but it's got a lot of good relevant traffic. Which one do you think is going to help me the most?
Right, the relevant traffic one.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Whole point. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
So Patrick, not rely on nature's organic traffic. You got to have CTR manipulation. So this is the thought I used to have, and I just talk to people. So used to, I say, well, how in the hell does the cell phone thing work? Holly comes in, puts in a bunch of traffic, and she leaves. And I would automatically think, okay, then, you know, it's not going to work. It's not going to stick is what I would think. But if you actually think about it and you go, okay, she comes in with cell phones or however you're doing your CTR, the whole point of that is now when it's ranking, right, natural traffic starts coming in and then it's going to stick. The whole point of doing the CTR, maybe I'm crazy, but it's to get it to rank. So you start getting the natural traffic so you can taper off the CTR traffic and then it stays there because of the fact that you have natural traffic there.
It's fake it till you make it. It's fake it till you make it mentality, right? You send in the traffic, faking it till you actually get the traffic, and then you turn the traffic off because it's naturally there. But you can still step up your branded traffic also.
Right. If you're doing CTR with keywords that are not going to continue to get traffic once you shut it off or move on to other keywords, then yeah, it's going to drop because those keywords are not getting searched and clicked. So that's an obvious reason why they drop. People bitch and say CTR doesn't work. Well, because you're not doing the right keywords, and the keywords that you're doing, either you come out too aggressive. Like we came out in the beginning and did 1,000 searches on GMBs and it blew up. It was number one. As soon as we shut it off the next day, it was like never there and never came back again. So I mean, if you're going to be aggressive like that, you know, you gotta know, like with the cell phones, I mean, it's a little bit different, but if you're using programs, you got to know where your stop points are and where you stay under the filter. But with the cell phones, as long as if you have real traffic and it's number, in the top 3 when you leave, it's going to be in the top, generally it hits number 1.
And that one client, the towing client that y'all are talking about, I actually spoke to him last month, and he had mentioned to me that he used you. He's like, she hasn't done no CTR since she's been here, and I'm still in the top. So
yeah, I only was there for 5 days, and I never did linking. I never did anything for him after the 5 days. It's 5 days and I'm done.
Thanks for the new GMB, Sean. Thanks for the new GMB name. Should you make it branded or keyword plus city? I always do keyword plus city or city plus keyword. Y'all, if I set up GMBs for myself, which I'm actually setting up hundreds right now in rank and rent space, it's always main keyword city. Constantly. I don't give a shit. So I got DBAs for every one of them. So come at me with that crap.
Yes. Yo, real quick, if you don't mind, because my mic died out. Somebody asked the question, damn, these headphones suck. Yo, send me a headphone. Oh, those look too big for me though. I need to get a different.
I'll send you some. You send me your address, I'll send them to you, bro. Don't even tell me.
Oh, I didn't even mean like that, but thank you. Shit, I'll take you up on an early Christmas offer. I just meant like some recommendations and shit.
No, send me your address, man. I'll send them to you.
Thank you, bro. Someone mentioned, right, when we were talking about the multiple GMBs, I'm not gonna scroll up. The question was about if your brand is like Ace Plumbing or some shit like that, right? In the new city, would it be Ace Plumbing, city, right? And I want to answer that. That's what I used to do, yes. And then quite a while ago, right? Like for me, it fucks Google up with your entity, right? Especially if they're too close together, right? So I deaded that shit, and I wish I could go and change all my old GMBs, but I can't. Now the game is, as Will has said, right? DBA everything and just do exact keywords, bro, right? So it's like literally like, instead of Ace Plumbing, only that one GMB is Ace Plumbing. Unless you do something far away where it's not gonna fuck it up. And I still wouldn't do that. One GMB, one website, right? But when you hit the other locations around the main GMB, just do keyword geo. Get a DBA for it, and you're good.
And if you don't have a place to get a DBA because you got to get a bunch of them, message me and I got the links where you can go get them.
And if your client says, if you even show them this and stuff like that, right? Because here's my suggestion. You get the GMB, you own the property. Then you work out the deal with your client if you already have a client, right? And say, hey, I want to show you that I'm serious in what I do. Matter of fact, I'm not going to tell you what a pitch is because that's not my realm, but you fucking word to them. I got extra leads. How much can, you want to pay for them? Whether it be per lead, work out at that point, say, hey, I really want to grow your business. Let's work out a rev share deal and get yourself out of that beat. Don't work for them, work with them, right?
I would tell you that's probably the best thing you'll ever do as an agency, start getting into rev share and actually put some skin in the game. And then they'll, you can get a good percentage of it, especially you said there, I own the GMBs. I literally I have a partnership. I have an entire sales team all over the USA, and we're starting it up in 2 specific niches. And I don't have to know the niche. I ain't got to sell the shit. I just got to drive the calls and, get someone ranked in every single city and start at specific cities. Y'all gonna see me start talking a lot more on the channel too about how to do keyword or niche research and looking at cities and how I do it. And this is exactly how I do it when you see me doing it for my own assets, so because we do, like I said, if you're an agency, you should be doing agency work or client work, all right? And besides client work, I would tell you do rank and rent or your own assets. And then there's probably a niche, maybe, you know, if you're in scale your agency better than other people, like how to market to roofers. Start up a freaking boot camp and teach people how to market to roofers, unless you just don't want to do that. It's up to you, but at least have, you know, 2 to 3 streams of income coming in from multiple things like rank and rent. Think about it. If you actually set it up properly, problem is a lot, in my opinion, I'm not against JK or anything. I think he did a lot of good things, but a lot of people come into the program and it's same thing with CTR. They look at it as it's the silver bullet. I ain't gotta do on page, I ain't gotta do backlinks, I ain't gotta do nothing.
Bullshit. We already covered that.
Let me do this, and then they're gonna rank. And no, you gotta do all the foundation. Same thing with rank and rent. If you actually look at it like this is an investment, this is a business, and then you go into it with a long game, not instantaneous easy money, then you're going to make it, because you'll wind up, you can get 20, 30 assets and get leads coming in. And if you know how to actually pre-sell the leads, like with what I'm talking about, what I did, I made an agreement with somebody that's already in the niche, already in the industry, already has sales reps, and all I do is drive calls. And then I get 10%, which you may not think is much, 10% of each installation, which winds up being, you know, several thousand.
Yeah,
not
that's crazy,
not
beautiful.
paper lead, 20, 30 bucks. I'm not after that bullshit. You know, give me a couple of grand per sale, I'm cool.
Yo, I have a win to share, even though it's not personally mine, right? So like, I'm not gonna say I coach the person. No, I don't coach them, but I shared something with some people, right? And one of them hit me up on Skype, and they were like, 2 days ago, and they were like, yo, I'm working out on a rev share deal with some, I'm not gonna share the niche, right? Just to keep it, you know, doesn't matter, right? The point is, today he hits me up, he's like, yo, I closed that deal. Like, thanks for like putting that bug in my ear. Now I'm trying to turn all my SEO clients into rev share opportunities. And this guy has like over 50 clients easy. You know what I'm saying? And off one of them, like you just said, because of the niche, it's several, like 800-900 to a couple of grand per
think of it this way. I give you an example, and I'll answer your question, Ray's, about rev share protection. I had a client when I first started, y'all see him in my ebook, this quality discount roofing, right? So during COVID, which shouldn't have been this way, he had like 100 and something leads come in, sold 30 new roofs. So each of those roofs are worth, let's say, $20,000 or so, because he deals with higher class, and he sold 30 of them. So he made over $500,000. I got 300 bucks. So if I had done rev share at 30, right? Let's just say 10%, $2,000 times 30. I would have made 60 grand. Who's the dumbass, him or me? I was a dumbass. Not no more. No. Okay. A-Raise, how do you protect yourself in rev share where the contractor doesn't screw me over? Very easy. I own all the GMB assets, every one of them.
That's right. You don't pay, you don't play. Simple. You don't send the contract. You don't send the contract after the job. The leads get deaded. And yeah, you might take a loss, right? And depending on the niche, it might be a huge loss. But in business, you take losses, right? And you could contract it up, and then who's gonna go to court, or like, you know what I mean? Really think about it. You take an L on the chest, but you stay consistent, and then you get dubs, right? And listen, I'm not a big time SEO. You guys know this, but I'll tell you this: I'm a businessman, and where I'm at, one of my business here in Florida, I ain't never did none of the jobs, none. It's an independent contractor, bro, right? All I do, make the phone ring, sales team book, sends to him, I get my cut, period. If he doesn't send me my money, I get another one, right? We've been doing this shit 4 years, three and a half, 4 years. And you know how I met him? An independent contractor that was doing the work before him that got too busy and said, yo, I'm gonna put you on to my guy. Simple shit.
That's what I've been doing.
And I'm not gonna say it's simple, right? Everything ain't simple. You gotta find the company. You're gonna go through ups and downs. Did you do your due diligence, right? Do they have a good rep? Did you look at their Yelp page? Did you look at their BBB, right? Like, you know, you gotta have a little business common sense and shit. But listen, man, it's not that hard to work out a rev share deal, especially when you already have the calls coming in. Like,
once they see you good, for example, you take them on as SEO client. I'm not saying as soon as you talk to them, but you get them as an SEO client, you get them results. Usually, if they're business minded, they're going to go, okay, I got these results from this one GMB. How can we multiply this? You know, and you talk to them about it. Say, are you wanting just to stay in your little 5-mile radius? Or we want to break out into other areas? And if they say, yeah, we want to break out in other areas, okay, let's talk. Let's have a conversation about that. How many sales reps you got? Do you have the ability? And talk to them about different things like that. So I have a GMB, Valerie. I have a GMB that I could never get verified, and I rank #1 on Google for that specific keyword because of the unverified GMB. I can't believe how well the website ranks without being verified.
Absolutely leave it alone, which I already know. She knows. What's up, Val?
Valerie is something else.
Yeah, Valerie's off the hook.
Yeah. I told her, I remember I first met her, we've had conversations and she started getting into CTR. I was showing her how to do some other black hat stuff. And she's like, I was like, don't be doing, don't go crazy now about it. So Patrick William, what do you use to create rank and rent websites? I use
matter of fact,
already. It's okay. I use the same thing we already use. Elementor or Gutenberg, either one.
Oh, these headphones fucking suck.
Same thing, Gutenberg or Elementor. And I go for one second, Mike. I go specifically what most people y'all do when you do rank and rent is you go, let me get into this niche, this niche, this niche, this niche, this niche, this niche. Y'all are idiots when you're doing that shit. Get in one niche, stay in one niche, and dominate that one niche, and don't do any other niches. The way I would tell you to do it. Therefore, I could take one website, clone.
Listen to this man, please.
And then all you have to do
listen to this man.
Then all you have to do is write the content one
time.
Website once. I just changed the logo. I changed the GMB. I changed the location pages, and then I spin the content. That's all I do. And I'm talking about a good 400 plus GMBs just in one niche. I ain't talking about
Hulk smash,
one
baby.
thing, you know. I'm talking about two big niches. So, you know.
All right. So
let's see. Go ahead, Mike.
Real fast. Yo, Vin, hit me up on the side, because if you want to do some rank and rent, let's tag team some shit and we'll case study it and then do something, you know? So just hit me up, my dude. That'd be a fucking pleasure. All right, what else? Somebody asked,
Graham says, for example, you can destroy a business owner who F's you over.
Oh, yeah.
You can.
You shouldn't though, right?
But it's
don't even have that mindset.
They're gonna pay you. Yeah. They're either
pay you.
If they don't want the leads and move on, someone will, you know?
Yes, exactly.
I've kind of had to get to that point. I used to be the guy that wanted to, before Holly, before Chris, before Michael, I'd be the guy, you say something, I'm the type of guy, I just want to beat the shit out of you, you know, because that's just me. We handle it like, let's talk man to man. And if we can't handle it, then we handle it fist to fist type deal. You just can't do that. You can't bark at every damn car that comes by.
Mm-hmm.
You know, got to learn to ignore.
Save your energy. You got to focus your energy.
It's like, I have a student that wrote me, he's like, what do you do when people do this or a client does this and he doesn't know how to handle it? And I said, same student or same client comes to me, says something similar. What do I do? Okay, cool, done. Don't you spend my energy on that crap, man. Because it's
sorry.
No, you can spend your energy on it or spend your energy on building your business and doing other things. So go ahead, Mike.
Patrick asks, Michael, how do you sell guys like that? I mean, your script, use phone or Zoom. What rev share percentage do you negotiate? So I use what Will done sold in here. I don't even want to talk about it much, but Chirply, right? Software, like that's what I use. I load it up. I do some IVRs. Like I usually share everything, right? I'm not gonna share my personal like way I do it only because it's my way and it's probably not a good way. I'm fucking raw. You know what I mean? Y'all way more professional. Just let a business owner know I have leads. Are you interested in them? If so, press 1, you know, or call me back.
So I'll give you an example. The way we were doing it when we do Chirply, you know, hey, I was looking for you on, let me just give you an example. Hey, I was looking for you on Google. I couldn't find you. Wouldn't you like more roofing leads? Press 1 for yes, 2 for no. They go for 1 for yes, and they get a sales rep. Sales rep closes them, books a calendar, done. Now, the other way I do it is I have a lot of clients and they'll go, oh, cool, you got me ranked. I want to do this in more areas. Hey, William, can you do this in more areas? Yes, I can. Let's have a conversation. Then I develop conversation via Zoom. Like I have another call, 2 calls next week. One for, one that has 6 different companies that wants to do a rev share. And you're talking about 9-figure businesses. You're not talking about little guys usually ain't going to be wanting to do rev share for the most part. Once they get more business minded, have multiple locations is what you want. So,
and guys, don't think that sometimes like with some of these deals Will's talking about, it's not just rev share and they expect you to build everything up front. It's rev share and they'll smash you with a huge amount of money to get started because they know, and they businessmen, right? When you start fucking with these type people, bro, it's not you. Listen, you want to get around business owners that are trying to spend the most money, right? That's the right circle because that's the right business owner, the guy that wants to spend the most money because he knows as long as I'm getting an ROI on what I'm spending, how could I spend more? Period. Those are the people you find once you deliver, right?
There's a book. If you want it, I don't know how many of y'all are readers that I'm gonna tell you to go get, right? It is by Dan Kennedy, and y'all know I love Dan Kennedy. Everything y'all gonna hear me usually say, Dan Kennedy. He's the one that taught Russell Brunson, ClickFunnels, all that shit. No BS marketing to the affluent. If you want to make more money, and if you wanted to get into bigger deals, you have to hang around business-minded people. You have to start knowing where to go and who to associate with to get around the people that got the money. Say, oh, you need, 6 figures up front. Oh, cool, no problem. I mean, they do exist. Trust me, they do exist.
Sean asked.
Go ahead, man. I used to say, how can these people sell $3,000, $5,000 websites? It's just your mentality. You think you're only worth. You think your site's only worth 1,000. This guy thinks this shit's worth 10,000, and he gets his 10,000. Mm-hmm. So something's not right. It ain't him. Because he's getting his money. So,
you ain't lying.
So
Sean said, where can we register DBA in specific state, or do you know of a service that does that for you? Just whatever city. Oh, go ahead. There you go.
I know 2 websites. You ain't even got to go to no damn city to do all that bullshit. Besides doing it, I'll put it this way. You can do it the way Michael won't tell you to do it. Go to your city, do all that bullshit and pay them for it and all that crap. Or you can go into some self-education. And there's 2 websites you can go on to enter the information, and it spits out a nice little DPA for you and a receipt saying you paid your nice little electric bill, and then you send that shit over if you ever need it.
There you go.
So for education,
50-50 rev share. 50-50, I mean, you could try, right? But
I never do that.
That's kind of ridiculous. If you could get 10%, even 5, 10, 15, 20%, that's great. Again, right? I don't know the niche, right? But that's also why people pick specific type niches, right? I set up a little rev share test on something that I don't know if it's real or not, but it was only 5%, and I was like, but it's like 5% or nothing. I was like, I'll give him 5% once he sees the quality of the leads. If everything stays the same, because it's just like a test, then I'll say, listen, man, you know, I really didn't want the 5. I wanted you to see the quality of the calls, right? And now it's 10, or I'm sending them to Jiffy Lube, you know, his competitor, and use his competitor's name, who I already spoke to, you know what I mean? And take it from there. Know your value, right? Like, here's another thing. I'm gonna drop a fucking gem on y'all. Brent taught me this, right? Who's not here. Best wishes to my brother. And I hear other people that are on their sales shit also, you know, mention this as well, right? So someone asks Will or you or us, hey, Mike, how much to work on this GMB or to do the SEO, right? I don't know. Ain't no flat price. What's your niche? What's the geo? Then more importantly, what's the lifetime value of your customer? What's a lead worth, right? So in other words, like some people would just say, $1,000 a month, I'll do your work, right? $1,000 a month for one client, you know, he might be making back 1,500 or 2,000, and so he's up $500 or 1,000, barely making money, but you making your 1,000, right? Then there's others that for that same $1,000, you might be bringing him 85K, 150K in work. That shit don't make sense, bro. It makes sense for me, the business owner. Like, yo, for 1,000, this guy's feeding me 150X, right? But I promise you, I fucking promise you, if you take the time to call all the business owners in that fucking area, someone will offer you more than that, a lot more. Especially when you have the fucking proof already, right? Call tracking, or, you know, show them, listen, this is how many fucking calls I sent to them. And if you have GHL and all that shit, which a lot of y'all have, or similar, where you see the client's numbers, like what deals they closing based off what you're bringing them in. Come on, baby. That's the data. Expand your horizons, man. Like that, you know, there's nothing wrong with agency work and all that, but just think, if you have 10, 50 clients and you get 1% of them to work out rev share with you, that's a lot of extra money. I promise you it is. I fucking promise you it is. And what's easy to pitch about a lot of rev share stuff also, when it's not upfront, like if you have the GMBs and the lead gen asset, right, is, listen, guys, I'm not asking you to pay me up front. I'm not a marketer, right? That's what I do. I hit them with I'm a business owner. I'm testing son. I got leads in this area and I got nobody to take care of them. I'm trying to forward the calls to you or your sales team. And when you convert them to a customer, I get a percentage of that. Are you interested? Press 1. If not, press 2 and you'll never hear from me again. Works every time. Well, every time except one in this little small area. Seems like everybody there got enough jobs.
All right, I'm dropping the 2 websites into the chat. One for the receipt, one for the DBA license. I'm not going to drop it any more times. So if you don't get it,
bookmark it.
Hear about it. Y'all better bookmark this shit. There you go. The rev share, do you use their images, their own assets? No, I use my own assets. It's out when them come along saying, oh, no, I own this. No, you don't. Don't even try that shit.
Look at my boy Jeff. Woof, been doing 30% with caterers for 15 years. My boy. Well, not my boy, because Jeff is like old man, respectfully. That's an OG. Jeff's been 15 doing, years marketing. He's been doing that shit.
He's been doing marketing alone for 40 years. Marketing. He's the one that told me, he said, go read Jay Abraham and some other of these books. That's why y'all be hearing me say, go read this, go read this. Y'all know how many
50
books.
50 years. Wow. Bro, he been marketing longer than I've been born. Are you kidding me? Wow. That's deep.
With RevShare, do you know the cost of every job? Yes, I do.
Yes, you get a contract. Like, you know, when you're doing this, you should be doing this with business owners. Even if it's a roofer with a little ass receipt, which roofers don't use that. They have, you know, systems in place, right? You got to get an invoice, finished job. You're not getting your percentage on an invoice either, which is also something that some people might be interested in. Yo, Will, you know, not for nothing.
I'm going to show y'all something real quick. too.
We could create a whole course on how to get money right with clients, like either by one, just doing lead gen, opening up a business and doing lead gen. Two, opening up a business, becoming an actual broker, right? And then that whole process, which I think I'm about to do because it's someone I spoke to with Chirply in a specific niche that in Atlanta and in Miami, both people told me, nah, man, I'm not interested in that, but they liked my vibe, right? Because they pressed the one, they wanted to talk to me. They were like, yo, I'm not interested in that, but I deal with a lot of brokers, you know, and I just give you my price on my tariff. That's what they call it, tariff, right? And then you add on what you want on top of that. And I was like, right now, I'm not interested in that, but I'm gonna get a little call center in place and get back to you, because it doesn't cost a lot to start an LLC somewhere, right? You don't have to live in that state. And anyway, we'll save that for another time. But I think that's a way I could really contribute to the SEO community, because I'm a business owner, dog, and then I learned the SEO, right? So yeah, I'm an SEO. You know, I know this shit. But what I know more is how to like not just get paid X amount per month for my services, because that's not.
You gotta know your value. That's the biggest thing. Know your value.
I'd rather open up a business in every fucking city and state that there is, period. Even if it's with a client, right? Tell a client, hey, listen, I'm willing to buy into your business. I know someone, and I'll leave it at this, that goes to page like 3 of Google, right? And also is always checking Craigslist and all these type of investor websites for small business people that have the licensing, but don't have the funding, right? Like they have everything, bro. Some of them even have all the fucking equipment in their house, in their fucking bedroom or their garage, right? And all they need is like the the shop and full-blown mechanic, but they don't got the money. And people buy into them type of businesses, right? And say, hey, listen, I could do the marketing and I got the money, but I want X amount of percentage.
I've had so many people approach me about that in the past, and I was like, I'm not interested. Now it's like, you dumbass, you should have been doing this for 20 years, 20 years of waste when I should have been doing. You want to see how serious they are? For example, I'm not going to give this to y'all, so don't ask me to give it to y'all, but I'll show you. For example, as part of the research you do, and I got this thing organized by damn state, but literally I have how many states, where it ranked at, who's got the most GDP per year, every quarter, what's the change, and I got every single state in here. Don't be trying to screenshot that shit either. I ain't gonna leave it up too long. You know, what's the income brackets? What's the fastest growing states? You know, so for crime scene, what state should I go into? I'm going to go in every state, but what cities should I go into? The ones with the highest crime rate. You know, think about different things. So, well, it's end of the day today. Tomorrow we'll have Mr. Chris Palmer on with us. And later this week, I got Mr. Matt V going to be coming on as well, too, not in class, but actually on a live on YouTube. So I can never say his name, Versteg or whatever it is, right? But I know Mr. Ray's coming here with his damn chicken wings on the background and getting me hungry, throwing a football.
Yo, bro, you just read my mind.
He's throwing a football, making me think, man, I miss fucking
I'm
football.
Like, damn, them wings look good right now, yo.
He does that every damn time. He comes in here either in a kayak looking thing or chicken wings in the background. I'm like, you know what? You're wrong. Yeah, my wife made me chicken wings every day, believe it or not. So, but and now I get to play Madden. I can't wait till you get your PS5 hooked up, Michael.
Oh man, I play Xbox. You gonna make me buy a PS and learn how to play with that controller again? It's been a long time. If you own the assets, do you have insurance on the guys who go out on the job? So if you own the assets and you have a rev share worked out, then the person doing the job has all that. Yep. If you open up a business, right, an actual business, then you would need to get some sort of insurance, or the independent contractor needs to have it and you need to make sure that he has it in place, then you're covered. If you become a broker, Then there's like one simple insurance you'll need to cover one aspect, and then again, who you broker the deals out to need to be, fully covered. So, you got to do a little due diligence. Again, make sure you're dealing with companies that are fully
legit.
licensed,
You got
insured.
legit companies. You can't be
Yeah.
messing with,
Craigslist guys,
Harry,
like
Harry, whatever, that thinks he's a roofer and doesn't have any insurance. And then when he screws something up, they want to come after you. All right, guys, I will see you later, and we will see you again tomorrow. And I appreciate it as always. All the recordings will be up at the end of the week. So this week, all recordings into the week, whenever I get time. So appreciate you guys. You guys have a great day. And thank you guys. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Holly.
Peace out,
Appreciate
y'all.
it. Peace out.